Welcome to Barchart series of weekly webinars designed to help you, the investor and trader, better understand a variety of trading concepts, as well as the pages and tools Barchart provides to help you make a more informed investment decision. Today's subject, watch lists. Why do we make lists, right? Perhaps a grocery list to remind us of certain ingredients to a recipe, or a to-do list to help us prioritize our time and streamline our efforts, or maybe create a bucket list of opportunities or events that we don't want to miss out on. Well, I'm here to tell you that Barchart's watch list can do exactly all of these elements: prioritize, maximize our time and effort, and also to alert us of potential trading opportunities. Hello, my name is John Rowland, and in our session today, I'd like to show you guys the who, what, and where of, but mostly the why we build these watch lists. Joining me today is my partner and our moderator, Gene Baker. How you doing, Gene?
I'm great, John. How are you today?
I am doing great. I'm in a really good mood today, so I'm excited about talking about watch lists. Let me ask you something, Gene. Are you a list maker?
Yeah, it depends on the situation. Yeah, I have a bucket list, absolutely. I make a lot of lists in my head, but you know what? I tend to forget stuff if I don't write it down. So if it's really important, yes, I am a list maker. How about you?
I am. I am definitely a list maker. Um, Let me ask you this: have you ever made a list for your lists?
Uh, I don't think so. No, but
Well, I have to
that
confess,
might
I
be
do that. Usually
right. That
around
might be a good idea.
usually around Christmas time, I make a list of lists, right? You can make sure who's on my naughty and nice list, and also a list of things that I need to get done. So I'm definitely a list person. I love lists. I love to put them together, and I feel a sense of accomplishment when I knock off all the things off the list. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Okay. So just a reminder before we get started that all trading has forms of risk, and that we at Barchart recommend that you seek the advice of a qualified financial professional anytime you are going to make an investment decision. And then it's important for you to understand how risk sits inside of your financial condition, and if you have the opportunity or ability to bear that risk. Okay, so let's go back to bar chart. All right, what is a watch list? Well, a watch list is a collection of stocks, ETFs, options, Forex, and futures. And what's its purpose? Well, a watch list's purpose is a time-saving tool that allows us opportunities to focus on, compare, analyze, and to alert us of changes on a daily basis. So, how do I create a watch list or inside of bar chart? And I can create multiple watch lists many different ways. I could create one from scratch. Here it says up here under this tab right here, I could create a new watch list. This comes from the tools watch list section. So I can click on a new watch list and I can name it whatever I want. In this case, I'll pick webinar. Now we'll talk about emails and options in a little bit later. So I've made a new watch list called webinar. Once I've created a watch list, notice I have no symbols. So I need to add some symbols to it. So what could I do? Well, I could just add any symbols of markets that or securities that I want to trade. And that could be as easy as A, B, C, D, or I could add commas, E, comma, F, comma, G, and add those to my watch list. I can create a watch list from a popular page. For instance, maybe all top stock picks. Now, the way I would do this is I could go into the screener button, look at this top picks for today, check the results, and save that as a watch list. This could be a watch list of top picks that I have for this particular day. Or I could create it from a popular page or a known group of market. For instance, if I go back to the main page on stocks, there's the S&P 100. Maybe I'll use that as my data pool of my watch list. Again, this is a large data pool, but how we can create different types of watch lists. So here are the components of the S&P 100, all the stocks that are in there. And again, all I need to do is go to my screen, look at the results, and it'll give me the opportunity to save that watch list. In this case, I could name this one the S&P 100. But notice, though, I can also amend or append to. I could add some elements to or a list of stocks that I found or ETFs, options or Forex to a list that I've already created. Now, see, I already have some lists already created. Or I could replace a total list. I might generate a list every day, and then I just continue to replace that list. Now, notice though, here on my NASDAQ list, it does say the watch list has reached a maximum of 1,000 symbols rows. So inside of our watch list, we do have a maximum of 1,000. Some of us will be creating watch lists that have hundreds or so inputs or datas or symbols. And so just understand that you do have a limit of 1,000. But I can also create a watch list from any one of our screeners that we have. Notice I'm on the stock screener. And I could create this based on a list of my own elements or criterias that I want to look for in terms of the different symbols or markets that I'm looking through. So I can choose any of these different elements. Now, inside of our screener, we do have a lot of different ways to narrow down candidates for us in our process, and these are both technical and fundamental in this screener section. Now, what I might do is do something that is technical. For instance, I might look at new highs where the market is made a new high price, and I want to know if all the stocks that have made new high price in the last 5 days. But maybe I'm going to even narrow that down to a field of I want to make sure that the high price is greater than the last month, and check those results. And it gives me 298. This could be a watch list of stocks that I'm watching that I believe that are on the move, that price is starting to go higher. Notice then I can save that as a watch list. I could add a a fundamental aspect to my watch list. Maybe I could go to, for instance, key statistics and look at maybe something as simple as market cap. And I only want to look at stocks that have a medium to large market cap. Now I've narrowed down that list of 290 down to these 9 of middle to large market caps and are on the move. So here's a way we can use our screener to help us create a watch list of stocks or ETFs or options or futures that I want to trade. All right. Okay, so once I've created, let me stop there for a second. So one of the things I want to mention to you folks is, as I go through this watch list process, is there is a difference between what we call a free membership and a premier membership. Free members are allowed to create 5 watch lists, where premier members will be allowed to create an unlimited number of watch lists. Okay. All right. So once I've created a watch list, I can add other stocks or securities to an existing watch list through numerous ways. Okay. So first thing that I can do is, here's my stocks here that I've filtered out. And I can go over here to this links button here, these 3 little dots, and click on that. And see, it says, again, I can add this to a watch list. And I could pick this out of any one of the watch lists that I've already created. I can add it to it, right? Now, that is one way I can do this, but I can do this through my flip charts. Maybe I'm looking at a series of stocks. Now, this is not a great looking stock. Let's see if we can find a better example. These look all like penny stocks to me. Yeah, let's do this. Let's go back to a watch list that I like. One of my favorite ones that I've been watching lately. My dogs of the Dow. And again, pointing out that we could add this to a watch list. Now notice that Chevron here is already on some of my other watch lists.
Hey, John,
Yes.
I'm gonna point something out for our users right there. So go ahead and open that link for Chevron again. And add to watch list. So one of the things that sometimes people ask is, okay, so how can I remove things easily? You can uncheck any of these watch lists that it's already on. So let's say, right, if you want to remove it from that and then click OK, so that watch list link is used to both add and remove.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, and when we go into editing, we'll talk about adding and subtracting lists, but this is one of the more convenient ways to do that. So another way I can add to a watch list is, let's say I'm in my flip charts. For instance, here I'm looking at Chevron and I want to add it to a watch list, right? And I could come in, add it to one of my different watch lists. Now, that's not the only place that I can find ways to add to my watch list. If I go to my stock page, for instance, the overview page, notice that we can find that little star to add to it. Or if I go to a chart, interactive or a technical chart, there it is again. As a matter of fact, every page that we have related to any of the securities that we have will give you that opportunity to add to a particular watch list. All right. So where do I find my watch list after I've created these watch lists? Right. So again, there are multiple ways where we can find or get access to our watch list. One of the easiest ways is just go to my account and click on my watch list. Another way I can go is through tools and click on watch lists. And one of the cool features that we have on Barchart is on the main page. Let it load. We have a watch list. And again, this is where I can go in and find the watch list that I'm particularly interested. Now, one of the cool features about this is that whatever watch list I visit last will now become my new default on the main page. So if I want this Dogs of Dow to always be my main watch list, is that I want to make sure before I leave the website is that I'm going to go to that watch list. But if I picked another watch list and then I deviated away or logged off, then next time I come on this section right here, you would have the last watch list that you picked. Okay, so what can I do with my watch list, or how do I set it up, my watch list, in order for me to benefit from it? Okay, so let's go to Dogs of the Dow, and we're going to see more. All right. And one of the first things that is very obvious to us, anybody who's a user of Barchart, is our flip charts. And what flip charts does is it gives us that visual look of the symbols that are in our watch list. And here, with not only that visual look, I can run through a lot of stocks or futures markets very quickly, but it also gives me the opportunity to use my tools, or if I want to remind myself of certain data, I can do that through my flip charts, right? And as I go through my charts, I might have set up different examples or trade ideas or technical indicators that I'm going to use for analysis. I'm waiting for that to happen. Okay, so let's go back to our watch list, right? Now, the other thing that we can start doing with our watch list is right here on here. It says our views, our main view. Now, Barchart creates some standards or default views for you. The main view basically is what you see right here: last change, open, high, low volume, and the time of the results. And then we'll talk about that in a second. Technicals, we have some technicals for you. Relative strength, historical volume, average volume, high, low for 52 weeks, our bar chart opinion, performance, right? Our weighted alpha, percent change over a month or 3 months or 52 weeks. Fundamentals, some fundamental stuff, market cap, price earnings, earnings per share, beta, dividend, so on. Post-market and pre-market. A lot of times, some of these stocks or markets will be active before what is the official opening. You can go in here and see what is happening to your watch list prior to the exchange's opening. Mini charts. This is a new feature that we have, which is kind of cool. Is you can go to your watch list here on the mini chart and get a quick snapshot of what's going on in your market. And this arrow here will allow you to blow that out to a larger chart, which will allow you to do a little bit more technical analysis on your particular charts. But there's also down below here is what we call our custom views. And custom views will be views that we can set up that are going to help us look at our watch list in that focus of comparative analysis, whatever we want to do. So, for instance, here I have dogs, and this watch list view is showing me my industry sector, price sales, price per book, P forward, and the 5-year dividend, right? Now I can create my own custom view to help me with my watch lists. And I can name that whatever I want to create that custom view. But let's look at the dogs of the Dows for a second. Inside of here now is those same elements that we saw when we were looking at the filter section. And here's what is in my dog's custom views. And here's all the other things that we could add to it. And you can be very creative here, right? There's a wide range of technicals and fundamental elements for you to pick from. But if, let's say, you don't know where to look for in these catalogs of elements inside of our creator, let's say you just know that maybe you just start typing in the word. For instance, maybe you might want to know what the margin is, or what is the range of price over the last month, or a moving average, right? So you just type in the words and it'll help you find what you're looking for. What I wanted to add to my dogs is that I noticed that I didn't have was the annual dividend. So I'm just going to type in dividend. Oop, there it is, annual dividend yield. I want to add that to my custom view. Notice that it adds it to the bottom. Now, if I want to resort this or put this closer, I'm going to put it right next to my 5-year annual. So now I can order it in the way I want. Make sure that you save it. Okay. All right. And I go back to my watch list. Here's my dogs of Dow. Here's my dogs custom view. And now my dividend yield is in there. Okay. All right, so that's ways we can add to a custom views or do some other elements to our custom views. Now let's go back to custom views for a second. I did want to show you one other element. Is not only do we have fundamental and technical analysis for you, but we also have a lot of the bar chart opinions and opinion indicators. And so we'll just open those up and show you some of those as well. Okay. All right. I forgot to show you guys those ones. All right. So let's go back to our watch list. All right. So what else can we do with our watch list? Now, notice over here, we do have what is called, it says intraday. But if I open this up now, I have two options. I have intraday or end of day. If I'm going to be using my watch list during the working hours of the exchange or during when the market is open, I'm probably going to want to stay in an intraday. But if I click on the end of day, what this now does is the data that I have created, or the data sets that I've created, will give it to me based on the end of the day. Now notice it says end of the day, not the end of the day today, but the previous session, the end of the day yesterday. Notice it says April 6th. And we'll talk about how this could be important for you as you receive this information, let's say offsite. But my default setting here, or how I want to look at my watch list, if I'm going to be an active user or I'm watching it on a regular basis, I'm probably going to use an intraday. All right. Now, what we can also do now is we can do some editing to our watch list. So I'm going to go over here and click on the edit button. And this is where we're going to really start putting our watch lists to work. And we're going to really fine tune this to how we want it to be show to us. So here's my dogs of the Dow, and you can see my default data is intraday. That was what I just showed you. If I wanted to make it end of day, I could make it end of day. And my default view is what the website offers you, the default site view. Again, I could customize this, either one of the other default views, the main technical performance or mini charts, or I could also do one of my custom views. In other words, that dogs one. That's how that watch list would appear to me when I'm on the website. Now, notice though, we do also have email watch list options. And one of the cool features that we have here is that we can have our watch list emailed to us at certain times, up to 4 times a day, either before the market opens, or at the market open, midday, market close, or at the end of the day. And again, we can format our email to come to us based on one of those views, either the custom views or the default views. And in this case, I have this watch list sent to me at an end of the day where I'm going to see the performance, right? Now, it might be the performance over a little bit longer period of time, but I'm going to lets me to look at this in maybe a bigger picture. The other thing we can do is we can attach a CSV file, which is a file that we can use to, let's say, drop into an Excel. Or I know of a student of mine that was using the CSV to drop it into using the pivots or the trader's cheat sheet and dropping it into an algorithmic program. So that is a cool little tool that you can have for those who like that kind of thing. All right. So what else can I do when I'm editing my watch list? Right? Besides that intraday or end of the day and how I receive it through the email. I can add or delete symbols. For instance, here I have Chevron in here. If I don't want Chevron in my list, I just click on that and I've deleted Chevron from my list. Now, let's say I want to add Chevron, or Chevron is part of the dogs of the Dow. I can add it back. And it tells me that Chevron has been added to the bottom of my list. And there it is, Chevron there. But maybe I don't want Chevron at the bottom of my list. I want it at the top. And so I can just push that arrow, that up arrow, and it'll move Chevron back to the top. Now, let's, for instance, Verizon. Maybe I'm not too keen on Verizon at the moment, and I want to move it to the bottom of my list. I could just click the down arrow, and now Verizon is at the bottom of the list, right? I can also move it by just grabbing it here and sliding it up or down. And that's another way we can sort our list. We can also sort our list by alphabetical, by name, or alphabetical by symbol, right? Especially when we have our larger lists. The other feature that we have in here in our watch list is we can add a blank row. And this we're probably going to use if we have one of these watch lists that has maybe hundreds or a lot in them, and we want to use this to space out or group certain markets. For instance, like in the futures markets, you might have the grains and the metals and the energies in certain groups, and you could use that blank row. Now, notice it said it added a blank row to the bottom. And again, all I need to do is either use my up or down arrow to put it at the top or bottom, or I can move it around and to place it exactly where I want it. Okay? So there's a lot of things we can do inside of editing our watch lists. All right. All right. So let's go back to editing here for a second. And what do I want to do next? Oh, I know what I want to do. I want to go back to my watch list. All right. Oops. Let's go back and yeah, I'm going to leave this. I didn't make any changes. All right, so here's my watch list. So another feature that we can do, not only the editing I just show you, is there are some tools inside of here, and in kind of editing is I have my notes, right? And inside of my notes, I can make notations based on either technical analysis or fundamental analysis, or things that I want to remind myself when I'm looking at this particular stock. And for instance, in case Chevron here, I have a notation of there's a gap, what a Fibonacci extension target that I'm looking for, and then these two low flag and high flags. And what these do, these low and high flags do for us, is when price gets below the low flag, it'll indicate to me with a red signal. I'm going to show you that in a second. Or if price gets above my high flag, it'll indicate to me with a green signal. And that's what we see right here. See 3M, and we have a green line underneath 3M, and we have a green box over here. And if I put my finger right on my green box, it's telling me my high flag of 188 has been signaled. And you can see that the current price for 3M is 195. So we're above 188. So that's why it's green. So what I could do is go back to my flip chart, and I'm on 3M. And we said 188 was our high signal. You can see now price is above 188. So what I might do here is now is I'm going to change my notes. I'm going to change my flags. Again, it's kind of editing, isn't it? Where I'm going to make 188 my low flag, and then maybe what I'll do is I'll look for a higher time frame target. And in this case, I see, an area where I believe that price might slow down, or an area where I might look for an opportunity to exit a trade in this case. And it looks like around 210. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back into 3M. I'm going to go to my notes, and I want to make my high flag 210, and I'm going to make my low flag 188. I'm going to save those results, and notice that 3M, the signal, is now turned off. If I look at Merck, I look at my low flag here, it's a red signal, it's $80, and currently price is at 75.91. Again, I could go to my flip charts and go to Merck, and there's my low flag, and you can see now price is below here. Now this is kind of a sneak preview, little tease for you guys for next week. We're going to be talking about chart patterns, and this is one of the markets that I was setting up some examples for you. But anyways, now that let's make $80 my high flag, and maybe I'll use this low right here. Looks like it's around 71.72, so let's make it 71.70 as my low flag. Go back into my Merck notes, and I'm going to make my low flag 71.70, and I'm going to make my high flag that $80. And then notice now my signal has been turned off. So this is another way we can edit our watch list to help us in our valuations or our technical analysis, all right?
Okay. John,
Okay.
I'd like to make one quick clarification here.
Sure.
A couple of people have asked, okay, so you were drawing those trend lines on the Merck chart and then setting this high and low flag on your watch list. The trend line that you draw on your chart is really independent from the high and low alert that you're setting on your watch list. So
good point. I should have pointed that out. Yeah, don't assume that if I put in a high or low flag, notice that we've changed our flags and no lines appear. Is that what you're saying, Gene?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah, so great point. Great point to point that out. Yeah, this line is a line that I drew myself, and I can adjust it however I want based on my technical analysis, and it has nothing to do with the high or low flags. Okay. Yeah, good point.
Back on the watch list, what if you view your watch list each day and you all of a sudden see that red or green flashing notes? It's really just a visual clue to you that something has happened based on some data that you've set for that symbol.
Either we're going to make some kind of actionable trade, right? Or something that we need to be aware of. I might be setting low flags for entries, but I might also be setting low flags to warn me that it's time to get out, right? Or take profit. So yeah, That's exactly what we want to use those for. Okay. So let me just take a time out here. So since Gene has brought this up about some nuances in watch lists, and what I want to do is I want to talk about editing, but I want to also talk about editing for, and this is really for my futures traders out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my watch list under futures, and these are all the different futures markets that pretty much the tradable ones that I like to look at. And notice that under here under my symbol, those of us who are futures traders will understand what I'm talking about here, is that I have a what is called a contract specific symbol, the root symbol, the month, and the year, right? And each one of the different markets has a different contract specific symbol. Now, inside of futures markets, there's this process of where, as we get closer to expiration, there's something called contract rollover, as traders move from one contract to another. So if I have a contract specific symbol in my watch list, when I come to expiration, then that symbol will be irrelevant to me, especially after expiration. So one of the cool things we can do is we can go into the edit here. And under my futures watch list, notice that my symbol here for the S&P Mini is my root symbol, ES, then it's star 0. And what this does, is Barchart does for you, is it will continue to roll your watch list symbol as the futures market rolls from one active contract to the next. And that's a cool little feature that we have. This will allow you to have a standard watch list that will continue to update as we move from one contract to the other, as that front month contract or that active contract then expires and the next contract becomes more active. Now, some of you are a lot more sophisticated traders. And so one of the other things that we can do inside of this star concept is we can type in a root symbol. For instance, in energies, and I typed in crude oil here, there are multiple months that are actively trading. In grains, there are multiple months that are actively trading. ES, not so. Just usually 1 month is actively trading. But I can do the star, and then from there, I can use a number system based on the current front month. In other words, the first month would be number 1. But let's say I'm a crude oil trader and I like trading 3 months out. So I could just do star 3 and add that to my watch list. Now it says crude oil star 3 has added to the bottom of my list. There it is. I don't want it there. I want to move it up next to my other crude oil, right? And let's go back, save that. And we'll go back to our list. And here is crude oil. The current front month is May. That would be month number 1. June, month number 2. And July would be month number 3. So this is a way for you to continue to roll as the market moves from forward contracts. But those of us who like trading, staying ahead of the curve, are trading forward contracts in time, is a way we can use that star number system. I can go out as many months as I want. All right. Okay, so that's just for my futures traders there, and that's a cool little feature that we have. All right, so the next thing I want to show you in Watchlist is organizing our watch list. So here are all my different watch lists. And again, we might create a lot of watch lists, or we might pull data out of the market and create a watch list that I might only look at for maybe a week or so at a time. And this is where I can come in and organize these. I can delete them. I can get rid of them. I can, again, like I showed you before with the arrows, I can move them up or down, or I can put them in a certain category, or I can sort them, again, by list or by alphabetical. So this is a really easy way to manage and organize my watch lists. Okay. All right. So where are we at? Okay, good. We're good and right on time here. All right. Now let's really start to put the watch list work. Let's let it do the work for us that we want to help us in our daily process. All right, so I'm going to go back to watch lists, right? And again, I can go through different ways. And I have a watch here list that's called NASDAQ. Now, this is a huge data set. This is actually all 1,000 stocks that are inside of the NASDAQ, right? But what I could do here is use this watch list now to help me set up an alert or help me to create a type of an alert as I filter out all the different stocks. For instance, what I might do is I'll come into Screener here, and I'm looking at this particular watch list, the NASDAQ. Now, it doesn't have to be in the NASDAQ. It could be in a data set that I created of stocks or futures that I'm watching or Forex. And let's say now I want to look at a very particular element. Now, remember we talked about opinions. One of the things that I like for equity markets is an opinion indicator of the 2100-day MACD. And what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to look at the signal of strength or direction. I want to know if any of the NASDAQ stocks right now is making a new signal. And I'm going to add that to my filter here. And I'm going to just do both buy and sell. In other words, I'm looking for a crossover of the 20-day moving average over the 100-day moving average. Above the 100 is a bullish or buy signal, and below would be considered a sell signal. And I'll look at those results. And now I've filtered down 1,000 stocks into only 9. And now these 9, I could go and look at them and see if I'm interested in those stocks, or I could create a new watch list. And I might only have this watch list for a week or so until either the trade plays out, or I just decide that that's not a market that I'm interested in. Now, the other thing is I can come back to my filter. Now, that's a technical analysis. Maybe I'm going to look at a fundamental analysis. Again, maybe I'll go to a key statistic like, for instance, market cap, right? And I'm going to add that. Maybe I only want to look at medium to large market caps, right? And what's my result? Now it's down to 8 here. So again, this could be a new watch list that I have created. All right. So this will alert me. Now I can send this result as an end of the day report. And this is a way where I can use a large data set and a very specific filter, and then have that result sent to me on a daily basis. Okay. Right? And then I could name that, let's say, 20-day crossover, 2100 cross, we'll call it that. And I can send that, again, I'm going to send this to me either through the main view, through one of my custom views, right? I can sort by the symbol, right, or by name, right? And I can have it sent to me midday or at the end of the day. And also, I can get that file that I like if I'm going to use that in an Excel spreadsheet, for instance, and then save that and send it to me. So here's a way what we can do is we can use a large group of data, filter it down, give us a very specific watch list, and then have that sent to us on every day. It's kind of like setting ourselves a little bit of an alert. Now, the other thing that we can do is we can reverse engineer our data sets. For instance, what I might do is go back to my stock screener here, and let's say I'm thinking about, I want to see how many markets are gapping up, right? Let's talk about gaps, right? I kind of like gaps. And I want to see markets that are gapping up. And I'm going to add that. And I want to say, I want to see a market that's gapped up 2%. But now I want to only look at those stocks that interest me, right? Not all stocks. So what I can do is I can reverse engineer my watch list, come down here to my list and my profile, select watch list, add it, and let's say I want the NASDAQ. And again, I'll look at that result. And there's only one stock today inside of the NASDAQ that gapped up greater than 2%. Again, I could send this watch list filter connection as a end of day report to alert me of those, or I can create a watch list of the elements that are in this list at this moment in time. Now, if we look at our chart here, right, this was that gap up. But now what I can also do here is, remember, I can add it to a watch list. And maybe I might have a watch list that's called gap trades. And I'm going to add it to that. And so that I can go back and look at those gap trades, make those decisions, go back and make the analysis or the technical or fundamental analysis. If this is a trade I'm going to look for, or I'm going to wait patiently for the price to come back and fill the gap, or look for gaps and goes, or whatever technical or fundamental analysis that I want in terms of gap trading. Okay? All right.
And
I don't see
John?
any questions, Gene. This is
Yeah,
unusual today.
so it's funny. I've been answering a lot of questions. If you can close your flip chart for a moment, I want to see if I can just take this opportunity to clarify what you just went through here. So John was talking about how you can set up this to send an end of day report. Today, he only shows one stock with that gap up percent. Tomorrow, if you set this up as an automatic end of day email report to filter on your watch list each and every day, you're going to get different results every single day. So you don't have to go in. You know, I had somebody ask, why would I want to send myself an end of day report of this one when I can see the result? Well, we're doing the work for you actually by filtering and screening on your watch lists, this list of symbols that you said you want to look for anything on the NASDAQ that has this gap up percent greater than 2%. We will tell you each and every day that these are the things that met your specific criteria. So that's like John was saying, put your watch list to work for you. That's one of the great things that you can do.
Exactly. And the other thing was, notice that when we did the result here, we did create a watch list, but we can also create a screener filter process that we can save, and we can incorporate that again against a current watch list or a data set that we have created, and I might already have those filters already set up. For instance, here on my 52-week plus high, I have a lot of different elements that are in there, and I could filter that down my watch list based on this already saved filter. And again, those results again could be sent to me on a daily basis, and those stocks I could easily whip through. And I think about it, if I had to look through 1,000 NASDAQ stocks, here I'm only looking at 38 that fit those criterias of my trading parameters, right? So here's where we're really letting the watch list to do that work, prioritize, and also help us be a lot more efficient in our time. You know, some of us don't have time to sit in front of the screen during the day, during the market open, and we have to do a lot of our analysis, you know, after our real jobs in the afternoons or in the evenings. And when we get this watch list emailed to us, here's the results. Now I can get to my flip charts, right? And I can go quickly through a lot of charts very quickly and see if I'm looking for a certain technical aspect or chart formation, right, of these different stocks that have created that watch list or that result. Right, Gene?
Right. Now, I'm also going to answer a few other questions that people are asking here. These end-of-day reports, this is a premier membership feature. Now, as a free My Barchart member, you can register for the site as a free member. You can create up to 5 different watch lists. You can create up to 5 different screeners. But if you want these things to be automatically emailed to you, you actually can email it midday and end of day. That is a Barchart Premier feature. So if you haven't tried Premier out, we offer a free 30-day trial. I really suggest that you start getting your watch lists to work for you. So yes, that is a Premier membership feature.
Cool. I always forgot to ask you that question about how many views and how many. So it's 5 custom views and 5 screeners. Is that saved screeners? Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah,
Or for the
and
free membership?
5 custom views, 5 chart templates, 5 saved screeners for your free membership. But if you upgrade to Premier, they're unlimited. You can create as many of these end-of-day screeners based on your watch lists. You can create as many watch lists as you'd like, and so on.
Right. So where Gene is pointing out that you can sign up from our basic membership to our premier package membership, and there is the button up there that you can get to that access to do that. And I would, for the free trial, I mean, what does it hurt to try it for 30 days? And you might find how convenient, especially these end of the day reports. I get one. Let me go back and show you this since I have a little time left. For instance, my watch list emails. And again, one of the things that we can do is we can really kind of customize this for us. So for instance, here's my futures one. I get that in the morning, and notice that it says the futures guide 918. If those of us who have been following along some of the webinars, we talk about this, one of the tools that is in the futures guide, where it gives us signal, this 918-day signal. And so this one does is it gives it to me in the morning so I can make that decision if I want to trade that market for that day. And also I can change those different email views. Performance main view, here's one that I'm top pick based on some fundamentals. So a way to really customize those emails as I use them and put them to work and put them into practice. Okay, where are we at, Gene?
We have a few more minutes. So I really do have a number of people who are blown away by your example with the, using your watch list, the gap up percent, or the example that you showed with the new, was it what did you use, a 20 to 100 day moving average signal? Would you mind showing us your screener one more time on how to be alerted when a symbol on your watch list crosses a new buy for, let's say, the 50, 100 day or 2100 day moving average?
Sure.
Yeah,
So go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah. So whatever fundamental analysis or technical analysis, well, two that I'm very keen on are bar chart opinions and our opinion indicators. So opinion indicators, now I'm going to go in there, and here are all those different opinion indicators. If you go into any of your individual symbols, stock, securities, under the technical analysis section, you'll see a lot of these in there. And the one that I'm particularly fond of is that 2100 day crossover, right? MACD crossover. And I'm not particularly concerned about what the current signal is. I do look at strength and direction, especially when I'm doing my trend trading. That's kind of how I do. But I think what you're asking is when it makes a new signal. Now, I'm going to add that. Now, here's the thing. Let's say I have a watch list, okay, that I like, right? I'm going to my watch list. And
This is the point that I want our users to see, is how they can screen on their watch list. So there's a
right.
specific filter for my lists and profiling, right? Okay.
So, for instance, dogs of the Dow, or this is a portfolio watch list that I'm currently actively, full disclosure, actively trading. So now I'm going to set that result. Right now, notice, oop, I got a lot of results today. I'll have to go and check them out. No, it says no result. All right. Let's check this out. But now I can have that sent to me at the end of the day, saying to alert me of a potential new signal. Let me just check something out here. Oh, I know what I did. I didn't put buy
You
or
didn't
sell.
check,
That's what.
right?
Okay. And this is the point I was going to make. Notice that the result says it found no result. That means that none of the stocks in my watch list has made a new signal. But I could create this list and that filter and send that to me at the end of the day, and that the day that I do get a result is the day that I might do some actionable material or actionable trade. In other words, if I get a new buy signal or a new sell signal, and all these ones I think are all in a buy cycle, so I probably would be more concerned about a MACD crossover for an opportunity to exit that trade. I think that's what you're kind of leaning towards, Gene, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a really cool way how we can use a very specific signal and a very specific watch list to send us a notification of some actionable trade.
You could also use the same concept, screening on your watch lists, for anything that has over a 5% price increase today, by adding in a different filter. Some people ask, how can I set an alert on my entire watch list? This is really setting an alert. You aren't going to get an immediate alert once the price triggers unless you set an alert on a specific symbol. But this is a really down and dirty way of getting notified of, again, you can have up to 1,000 symbols on a watch list. Well, this way, anytime anything matches a specific criteria, we will be able to send you these screener emails at different times during the day.
And so here's Jean's what said is, she said, okay, let's now screen based on a percent change of more than 3%. And I know that I did it on just the dogs a dollar, didn't get a result, but I used all of my watch lists. I selected them all, right? And now it's given me 37 different tradable ideas for today. And now I'm really thinking about the data set I just refined from, thousands of stocks down to 37. And there's where the power of the watch list and these filters and these screeners will help us really narrow down our focus, and I can concentrate on these 37 stocks. Okay.
The only other thing I'm going to throw out here, John, there's so many very specific questions that are coming in. Can you do this? Can you do that? And the stock screener has hundreds of different filters. So if John did not answer your question today, I really encourage you to email our support group. They will be able to answer your specific question.
Yeah. Right down here on the bottom is a great way to contact Barchart. And those folks at our support staff will be able to help you. And any very, very specific sequence that you want to talk about, they'll be able to help you with that process. It's just not enough time for me to sit here and answer everybody's questions. It just wouldn't be fair. But I think this would be a great opportunity for you to reach out to our support staff. I know those folks love helping you out and making sure that you're successful. All right. Anything else, Jean?
That's it, other than talking about your next week's session, John.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So next week, which I kind of hinted to when we were looking at our watch list, is we're going to do a a segment on chart patterns that every trader should know. And what we're going to look at is some basic chart patterns in terms of reversal patterns and also what we can call confirmation or continuation patterns. And then at the end, as a little tease here for you guys, I'm going to show you two unusual patterns that I look for in my trading that you might not find in a textbook. You really need to find an advanced book to talk about that. But these are two formations that I rely on in my personal trading that have a really high probability of a result that I'm looking for. So I'm looking forward to doing this one. I think that those of us who have seen these different kinds of patterns on our charts and don't know what they mean or what ways we can put them to practice, I think you'll benefit from this one as well. Okay. Well, until next week, I want to wish everybody the best of health, stay safe out there, and the good of all trading.
Thank you, everybody, for attending today's session. We really hope that you get the most out of Barchart.com, and we hope to see you next week. Thank you. Bye.